Hi friends, welcome to my USA Storybook channel. Please like, share and subscribe the channel.
3 funny scary stories. There were 2 twin brothers named Ricky and Bobby who enjoyed playing baseball. Ricky was always the pitcher and Bobby was always the second baseman. One day, they were sitting on the couch when Ricky wondered aloud, "Do you think they play baseball in heaven?" "I don't know," replied Bobby. "Is there a way to find out?" asked Ricky. "I have an idea," replied Bobby. "How about if one of us ever dies, he has to come back and tell the other if there is baseball in heaven?" "Okay. It's a deal," Ricky agreed. A few days later, Ricky was cycling down the road when he was hit by a car. He died on the way to hospital. Bobby went to the funeral and cried for days. A week later, he was visited by the ghost of his dead brother. "Have you come to tell me if they play baseball in heaven?" Bobby asked. "Well, I have good news and bad news," said Ricky. "The good news is that they do play baseball in heaven. The bad news is that you are scheduled to pitch tomorrow." Second story. There was an old blind woman who owned a farm. Her husband had been sick for years and he eventually died. She cried for days and decided to chop off his finger to keep as a memento. As he lay in the coffin, she felt around for his middle finger, grabbed it and chopped it off with a knife. She wrapped the finger in a handkerchief and kept it in her pocket. One night, the old blind woman was lying in bed when she heard footsteps downstairs. She recognized those footsteps. They sounded exactly like the footsteps of her dead husband. A shiver ran down her spine as she heard the footsteps walking up the stairs. She heard her bedroom door creak open, and the smell of death filled the room. Trembling with fear, the old blind woman said, "Have you come back for your finger?" She heard the ghostly voice of her dead husband reply, "That wasn't my finger you chopped off." Third story. There was a young boy named Andrei, who lived in a small village in Russia. He was a nervous child and was often afraid of one thing or another. He was quiet and spent most of his time listening to other people's conversations. In the village where he lived, he would often hear people talking about the big man. "Behave yourself, or the big man will take you away." He heard a mother say to her child, "Go to bed, or the big man will come and get you," said another parent. "Don't go over there. That's where the big man lives," he overheard a father telling his daughter. Andrei began to wonder who this big man was and why kids needed to be afraid of him. One dark night, as Andrei lay sleeping in bed, he heard his bedroom door slowly creak open. There, in the doorway, stood the shadowy figure of a man. He was over 6 feet tall, and he had the ugliest face Andrei had ever seen. The big man was tall and fat. He had a scar down the side of his face, and one of his eyes was milky white. The big man silently walked over to Andrei's bed and leaned down. In a commanding tone, the big man said, "Get up." Andrei replied in a trembling voice, "I will not get up." "Get up or I'll kill you," the big man threatened. Andrei got out of bed. "Get dressed," said the big man. "I will not get dressed," replied Andrei. "Get dressed or I'll kill you." Andrei got dressed. "Now, come with me," commanded the big man. "I will not go with you," said Andrei. "Come with me, or I'll kill you." Andrei followed the big man down the stairs and out the front door. There was a large black car parked outside. The big man grabbed Andrei by the scruff of the neck and tossed him into the back seat. Then he got in, started the engine, and drove off. Andrei looked out the window and saw that they had stopped outside a cemetery. The big man grabbed Andrei and bundled him out of the car. He dragged the frightened boy through the cemetery gates and down a narrow path until they came to a grave. The big man picked up a shovel and tossed it at Andrei's feet. "Dig up the grave," he growled. "I will not dig up the grave," said Andrei. "Dig up the grave, or I'll kill you." Andrei picked up the shovel and began digging. After almost an hour, he unearthed the coffin and stopped to regain his breath. "Take out the dead body," growled the big man. "I will not," said Andrei. "Take it out, or I'll kill you." Andrei opened the coffin and lifted out the dead body. It was the corpse of an old man, and his face was moldy and rotten. There were maggots crawling out of his mouth, nose, and eye sockets. "Now, Eat it, ordered the big man. I will not, said Andrei. Eat it, or I'll kill you. Andrei shuddered and reluctantly began to eat the dead body. He started nibbling on the ear. Then, he bit into the cheek. The taste made him gag. Suddenly, Andrei felt someone grabbing him by the shoulder and shaking him. Andrei, wake up, said his mother. That's the third mattress you've eaten.